Welcome you all to this video. There are numerous misconceptions about simplex method. Generally, students often believe that it is a misnomer and this method should be renamed as complex method. Jokes apart. Today I am going to discuss its calculations so that you can agree that it's a simple mode of solving LPP. This simplex method needs a question to get started. So we hypothetically take this situation where two materials A and B are required to construct tables and bookcases. For one table, 12 units of A and 16 units of B are needed, while for a bookcase, 16 units of A and 8 units of B are required. The profit of a bookcase is rupees 25 and rupees 20 on a table. 100 units of material A and 80 units of material B are available. How many bookcases and tables be produced to have maximum profit? Formulate this as a linear programming and solve by simplex method. So these two are the constraints, the 100 and 80. These two are the constraints, and the maximization is this profit function 25 and 20. We have formulated the equations here as maximization function. Then we have a constraint 1 and constraint 2. So these all are the initial problem we have. We have to simplify this with the help of simplex method, and certainly we have non-negativity constraints x and y are greater than 0. So here the next task is to remove these inequality signs, these signs by equal to sign. That's how we can make them equals to in this way. But now arises the question how? With the help of a slack variable. We need to have slack variables. Here we are removing these sign and putting equal to sign here, and with the help of slack variables we can do it. For the first constraint we have to add something S1 so that these two sides would be equivalent. Similarly for the next case we are adding slack 2. So let's learn how to construct the simplex table in the initial round. So this is how the very first and the preliminary simplex table looks like. These are the set of questions, constraints and maximization equations that we have. So now arises the question how to construct this particular table. Let's start with this. So initially just revisit the coefficients of maximization problem. This had 20, so this 20 is written here. Then we have 25 for y, we are writing it here, and this is y also written here. And then we have 0 for slack variable 1, this is 0 the coefficient and the slack variable s1. Similarly we have 0 the coefficient of s2, and this is the s2. So these are the four things written here. Next step, here we extract the coefficients of the constraint equations, that is 12, 16 and 1 for slack variable 1 s1, and we write them here 12, 16 and 1. Since we do not have any s2 in this constraint 1, so we put a 0 here, and that's how we frame the entire first row. Similarly, we can also find out the value here. This is nothing but the constant given in the constraint 100. Similarly, we repeat this exercise for constraint 2 and find out 80, 16, 8, 0 and 1. We have this table with us, the simplex table 1. Now the next step to calculate this table is initially to find out the value for Zj. Zj can be easily found out how. First we have to multiply this 0 by 100 and add this to this 0 multiplied by 100. 0 into 100 plus 0 into 80, that makes a total of 0. Similarly, we can proceed it for x column. We multiply this 12 by 0 and add 0 into 16. So again we have a total of 0. We will have the same total of 0. Why? Because we are multiplying these respective values, these values and these values by a given 0. So multiplying anything by a 0 would certainly yield us to a 0. Next step, how to calculate this Cj minus Zj. This can be easily found out by subtracting this 20 from a 0. That makes a total of 20 minus 0, a 20. Next, we have to find out this number Cj minus Zj for column Y. How do we do this? 25 minus 0. Again a 25. 0 minus 0 is a 0. Then 0 minus this 0 is also a 0. That's how we arrive at these two rows. Next step is to determine the key column. Key column can be easily found out by checking these four values, and out of these four values we are actually looking for the highest number. In our case that goes to 25. So since this 25 falls in the column Y, this Y is nothing but the key column. Next we have to find out these ratios. How do we do this? We divide 100 by the key column elements. Dividing 100 by 16 makes 25 on 4. Then we also have next term, that is 80 divided by 8, a total of 10. So that's how we get these two values. Next step, we already have decided that this is going to be our key column. Now we have to find out of these two, 25 by 4 and 10, which one is the smallest number. We found that 25 by 4 is the smallest number. So this entire row would become our key row. And the intersection of key row and key column, this 16, this becomes the key element. And this is a key element 16. So our target is to make this key element as a 1 in the next simplex table, and all the other non-key elements in the key column, that is 18. 18 in our case, we have to make this number as a 0 in the subsequent table. So the next two column has an intention to make 16 as 1 and to make 18 as 0. These are the two tasks we'll be accomplishing in the upcoming table. Every time we formulate a new simplex table, then the relevance of the key column and key row is also to replace the basic variables. Say for example here, we have this key column and we also have this as key row. So whatsoever comes in place here, 25 and y, would be here 25 and y. Instead of this 0, this will now become 25, and the next one would be this y coming on to this place of S1. Let's construct the simplex table 2. How to do this? Just recall the table 1 and the first row. The first row there happened to be 100, 12, 16, 1 and 0, and we have to make the key element of the table 1, that was 16. We have to make this as 1. So in order to make this one, we do one thing, that is uniform for the entire row, and the exercise is just to divide the entire row as in the respective elements by 16. When we do this, we find out the 100, this 100 becomes 25 on 4, This is the lowest form. This is 12 upon 16 makes a lowest form of 3 by 4. Then 16 on 16 is 1. 1 on 16 here. 0 on 16 is a 0. That's how we construct the row 1. Let's talk about what is to be done for row 2, how to determine its values. We first have to recall what was our old row 2. So this was our old row 2, this one. Next, here in this table, the next exercise for us left to be done is to find out the R2. And this new R2 has a simple formula. We have to find out the values for the old R2 that happen to be 30, 10, 0, minus 1 by 2 and 1. These numbers, all these numbers. Then the next thing is we have to determine what will be the 8 multiplied by the new R1. We can very much relate to this R1. These are the values. We have to multiply the respective elements by 8. Why only 8? We will be talking about this very shortly. In the first table, the table 1, there happened to be a key column. This was the key column, and in this key column, this is non-key element. So this is the same 8 that we have just talked about. One thing, we find out what was the old R2 and then find out 8 into the new R1. These are the R1, 25 by 4, 3 by 4, 1, 1 by 16 and 0. So we multiply them by 8 respectively, every element. Then we find out what is the new R2. New R2 is found somewhat like this. Old R2 minus 8 into new R1. Since we have these values, you can recheck all these values. That's what comprises our new R2. Let's put all these numbers 30, 10, 0, minus 1 by 2 and 1 here as R2. So that's how the new table looks like. Similarly, we can calculate Zj and we can also find out Cj minus Zj. As we did in the simplex table 1, we'll be repeating the entire exercise for simplex table 2. Initially, we have to find out what will be our Zj. Our Zj would be a column. (25 by 4) multiplied by 25, and then adding to this a number that is 0 multiplied by 30, which falls to be a 0 in this case. So we have a total of 625 by 4 as Zj under the solution column. Similarly, we multiply these two numbers by them respectively and we find out the total is 75 by 4. Similarly, we can complete the entire row and these are the values we have arrived at. Next, we have to determine Cj minus Zj. We do one thing, we subtract this 20 from 75 by 4. That makes a total of 5 by 4. Similarly, we have 25, we subtract 25 and we get a 0. Next case, we have a 0, we subtract this and we get minus 25 by 16. 0 subtract 0, a total of a 0. So we have the highest number in Cj minus Zj as 5 by 4. That makes this column as the key column. Since this is the key column, we can easily find out the ratios. The ratios are determined as a ratio of solution column and the key column. We do this, we repeat this exercise. 25 by 4 divided by 3 by 4, that makes a total of 25 by 3. Similarly, it's 30 divided by 10, a total of 3. So now the next step is to find out the least of the ratio. The least of the two would be 3 certainly. Since the least is 3, we can find out this is our key column, sorry, that's our key row, and we have already determined our key column here. So intersection of key row and key column, that is a 10. This is our key element. This is our key element. So similarly, we repeat the exercise and we just divided the entire row by key element so that we can find out one row. And for calculating the first row, we are repeating the same exercise, and now instead of 8, what do we have? We have 3 on 4. That's what we can see from the table 2. And also one more thing, since we had key element as 10, so we have done one thing, we have divided this row 2 by 10 so that we can find out this new tables are 2. So initially it was 30, so we made it 3. It was 10, so we made it 1. It was 0, still 0. And then we had minus 1 by 2, so we made it minus 1 by 20. And lastly, it was 1, now it's 1 by 10. So similarly, we can exercise this, and instead of 8 what we had in the first table and then we move to the second table, now we have 3 by 4. If you revisit your table 2, you can find out the key column of R1 was 3 by 4. So we are now subtracting this and we are now in a position. That's what our table 3 goes here. So similarly, we are repeating the next step, zj. How to calculate this? We are doing nothing but we are multiplying these respective elements by these coefficients to find out this 160, and that's how we repeat this, and we multiply these 0 and 1 by 25 and 20. That makes a total of 20 here. And similarly, we are calculating 25, 3 by 2, 1 by 8, and thereafter we are doing Cj minus Zj. These are all the Cj's written on the top. Then we are subtracting the Zj's given here. Now here comes a position where most of the students, they start thinking about how many tables do we need to construct. So we just check out the values. These are the values, the last column values, these values, last 4 values, and we want to find out the highest number. If and certainly this highest number must be a positive number, right? So since we are here in a position to see all the negative or 0 numbers, so our exercise stops here because we want to maximize this situation. So this is the third table, and actually this last table is also known as final table. The final table in case of maximization is the one wherein we have all the Cj minus Zj's as equivalent to either 0 or negative numbers. So yes, we have either a 0 or we have negative numbers. So this is actually our final table as well. So remember the initial word problem, we began this situation of understanding what a simplex is. So here is the solution for that. What should be the maximization situation? The maximization situation would be the one wherein we have y is equals to 3, y is a 4 and x is a 3. So in this particular situation, we can also find out one more thing. What will be our maximized profit? So our maximized profit is this ZJ, that is 160 units or 160 rupees. That's it for the calculation of simplex table. I hope this would have been an easier way out than the alternative formulas that is available in most of the books and the text. That's it for now. Thank you so much.